Hi guys, how are you doing today? Hope you are having a sunny and drama-free day. Ready for some news stories from Ask a Lawyer? Let's go to the first one, about OP, whose mother is threatening to disown her because she took her father's affair partner and their affair child to live with her and is helping them to take her father to court. Listen to the story, guys, to find out all the details, and of course to hear my insights. Enjoy the stories, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. I, 25 female, was an only child until all this went down. My mom, 45 female, and dad, 65 male, have been married for 26 years. So yeah, when they got together, my mom was 19 and my dad was almost 40. My whole life I thought their age gap was weird. However, my parents for the most part appear to be happy and in love. They adore me, so I guess I never really saw the problem until I put all the pieces together. My mom and dad are both professors, but at different colleges. My dad has always been that professor to go the extra mile and help students. I noticed in my late teen years, he'd tutor students at our house. A couple of times he did it when my mom wasn't home, and the students were usually female. When this would happen, I'd tell my mom and she would always shut me down. She wasn't defensive, more dismissive. I moved out when I was 18, so I didn't see anything else. My dad retired pretty abruptly at the start of last year. He never gave any hint that he'd do this. He loves his job. I have now found out my dad got a 20-year-old student pregnant. We will call her Bay. Bay, 22 female, threatened to report him if he didn't help out with her child, and he retired and ghosted her. Bay got in contact with me and explained everything. That my dad manipulated her, said my mom was evil, and that he'd leave my mom for her. She admits to being stupid and in love. They had a relationship for about a month, then he started ignoring her. She sent me a photo of my half-sister, and she looked exactly like me. She's almost 2. Bay asked me to meet her and her daughter, and I said I'd think about it. I decided to let my mom know beforehand, and to my disgust, she already knew. Bay has been contacting my mother this whole time, and my mother ignored her. Bay and her daughter live in their car, and all she wanted was a little support so they weren't homeless. I was disgusted with my mother and father. My dad ended up coming into the room in the middle of the conversation and told me Bay was just an S, and the kid wasn't his. He also admitted to cheating and said my mom had forgiven him. My mom laughed and said Bay was beneath them, and if she wants help, she can get on assistance. I was so angry I yelled at them. My dad asked how he could make it better, and I said get a DNA test. It's been a few weeks, and my dad is the father. I have met my little sister and Bay, and I love them both so much already. Bay and her daughter have moved in with me, and I'm helping Bay get a lawyer so she can go after my dad for child support. I've also found out my dad has had affairs with dozens of women ages 18 to 20. My dad's a creep, and I can't even look at him. My mom found out about Bay and my sister living with me, and she won't stop calling and texting me. She keeps calling me a traitor and saying if I don't make this right, she'll disown me. I love my mom, I do, but I told her she has no right judging me when she knew all of this and did nothing to help, and didn't hold my dad accountable. My dad sent me a text saying my mom won't leave the house, and she has been crying because she just wants me to let this go. I ignored him. I don't know why I'm choosing this hill to die on, but it just feels like the right thing to do. However, I'm having second thoughts. Everyone is so upset, and even Bay says I don't have to do this because she can see how stressed I am. I guess I just need to know for sure. Am I wrong? OP is not in the wrong here. OP saw a young girl left homeless with a small child without help from the father and acted upon the goodness of her heart. The only reason OP's parents have an issue is because this keeps his duck up in the light instead of tossing it aside and moving on. OP's mom prefers to take her anger out on the girl OP's father took advantage of instead of OP's father because it's easier to blame the stranger he slept with rather than admit to herself that she married a horrible person. She likely wants to push the incident into the closet and never be spoken of, thought about, nor reminded of ever again, and thus hence her anger at OP. Plus, easier to be mad at her child than at her husband. OP is doing a good thing in my opinion. And now let's see if the community agrees with me. Nikki Rain says, I'd be willing to bet you have a few more siblings you don't know about. Compsverg0 says, I understand your mother's anger, but your father is the a-hole. You are not the traitor, he is, And that's what you should tell your mother." He ducked up. Even if they had an open relationship, this behavior is not okay. Irish Kathy says, "Is it possible that your mom was in a similar situation 26 years ago with you, but your dad chose to marry her instead of ghost her? The girl needs a lawyer to get child support from your dad. You are being decent." In my husband's family, you inherit from your grandparents. My husband's father got it into his head that our son was the product of me having an affair. He said that he would not set aside money for him unless we got a paternity test. My husband told his father to go duck himself, and we cut him off. It has been a couple of years now, and he wants back into our lives. But he still wanted a paternity test. My husband and I talked about it, and we agreed, under the condition that when it turned out that my husband was the father, the money for our son would be in an irrevocable trust for his future, even though obviously his grandfather is not passed away. He agreed, and we did a test, sort of like 23andMe, but more reputable in private. It just so happens that my son is indeed my husband's child, but he is not related to a bunch of his paternal relatives. My husband's mom is a saint, and she divorced her jackass ex a long time ago. He immediately started crapping on her for cheating, since obviously the test showed that my husband was illegitimate. 2 tests later, the results are back, and my father-in-law is definitely my husband's father. My father-in-law, however, is not the offspring of the man he always thought was his dad. We had a legally binding contract, so my son has his inheritance waiting for him when he turns 25. We saw my father-in-law over the holidays, and he was complaining about how he had to liquefy some of his assets to set up the trust fund. I said that if he had just accepted his grandson and hadn't been such a jerk about it, then we would all have been happier. He got very quiet and very angry. He said I was being rude to insult him like that. I said that he had been rude to insinuate that I was cheating on my husband, and that technically, he was indeed a jerk. He is furious with me and mad at my husband for letting me talk about him that way. My husband told him that he brought all this on himself, and that if he wants to be in our lives, he will treat us all with respect. He followed up that since we have the money now, there's nothing he can hold over us if we choose to kick him back out. We are hearing a lot from relatives of my husband. Some good, some bad. Overall, they think I need to be more polite, but they agreed he did this to himself. So he barges into OP's family's lives, demanding a paternity test, accuses OP of cheating, but OP needs to be more polite? He made his bed, now he has to lie in it. And now let's hear the community's opinion. Anxiety Nervous says, "Not the a-hole at all. Karma is a B. Thanks for the laugh, that was great." Serious Watercrest 38 says, "Not the a-hole. It's so great to see a married couple behaving like a team and putting the father-in-law in his place. Congrats." Kioma Pie says, "Not the a-hole. All parties agreed to the terms. Don't dish it out if you can't take it. Karma's a B. Father-in-law is lucky you let him back into your lives. So as long as everyone is respectful, then there should be no further issues. Mean words? Yes. Warranted? Absolutely." Izzy, 27 female, and I, 26 female, have been friends since we were born. We were practically raised together. We were closer in college, but after that we have been drifting apart a little, but I still had a strong bond with her up until recently. She has been there for me a lot, and I have too, so it's tough, this situation. After college, when Izzy was like 23, she went on a few dates with Jake, my fiancé, but then told him she wasn't interested in anything serious. Even though I was her best friend, I didn't really know Jake because she used to get asked out a lot, but only a few turned serious. So I knew about her boyfriends, but not necessarily her dates. Almost a year after that, I moved in with Izzy, and so we got close again. It was after this I met Jake. We quickly became good friends. I used to talk about him to Izzy a lot, but it's when I showed her his pictures that she recognized him and told me about her dates with him. Friendships were more important to me than any guy back then, so I asked her if it was okay to date him because I liked him a lot. She said she had no problem and joked about it ever turning into a relationship, which I took as a joke. Jake and I became serious very quick. He's my soulmate. By then, though, Izzy and I lost touch a bit since I moved in with Jake, and work became more of a priority. Right until I got engaged, she used to joke to both me and Jake that she didn't think we would be this into each other, And at the time, I saw it as funny because Jake is the opposite of me. After I got engaged, she became very weird. She was very shocked and would not believe it. Then later, she used to tell me that I'm too young to be married, and if I'm sure, but I saw this as just concern, although she agreed to be my maid of honor along with my sister. Afterwards, I posted on my Instagram about our engagement, and people were reposting it and congratulating us. But Izzy just captioned it saying, "You better mention me in your vows, because he was into me first, ha." Jake felt very uncomfortable, and so did I, but I defended her, saying that it's just Izzy. She jokes around a lot. But I still let her know that it was a bit uncomfortable, and she said that she was just joking. After Christmas, we hosted a dinner party, and that day, Izzy just kept telling all the friends and family gathered that Jake dated her first. She let me have him, stuff like that. Even after telling her it was not okay, she joked around. Later, I told her that she was crossing my boundaries and that it was not okay, to which she said I was overreacting. In the end, I told her to not attend my wedding at all. I've been overthinking a lot after that. Right now, people who know about this are just choosing sides based on who they know more. I'm worried I'm ruining a lifelong friendship when I'm not even right. What if to her it really was just a joke and I'm not being understanding? But she's not being supportive or positive, which I think is unfair. I'm confused. Well, I think she's jealous and insecure and is trying to belittle OP because of it. A joke amongst friends stops being a joke once it starts causing problems or makes the person at the center of it uncomfortable or unhappy. OP has given her multiple chances. She's not a friend, and OP should stay away from her. And now let's hear the community's opinion. Hannah Kelly says, "Not the a-hole. I think that she loses any right to claim it was just a joke when you've expressed that it makes you uncomfortable and asked her to stop. You have every right to enforce your boundaries, even if that means ending a lifelong friendship. If she was a good friend, she would value your feelings over her need for attention, which is clearly what this is about, in my opinion. Also, it's weird that people are choosing sides in this. There's literally no reason for it, and they should really start behaving like adults." Dalfar says, "She's too proud to let things go. In her eyes, you found love in a man she dismissed, and that is simply not possible. Hence, she's there, I was here first. In my opinion, you made the right choice. Who knows what kind of behavior she'll display when her pride will turn into jealousy at a crucial moment." Not the a-hole. Here for Am I the a-hole says, "Not the a-hole. Kick her out and leave her out for good. She is jealous and insecure. She sees what you have and either wishes she had stayed with him or wishes she found someone too. It's disgusting the way she's making your special day all about her." So, my friendship group is currently in shambles over this situation, so I'm looking for some outside opinions. The two main people are my 24 female friends Alex, 25 female, and Leah, 24 female. They hooked up, and now Leah is pregnant, but Alex isn't happy about it. Alex and Leah have always been weirdly close, but they've never crossed the friendship line, and clearly for good reasons, because the whole thing has been messy as hell since Leah told him she was pregnant. He asked her to get rid of it, and she said no. So he asked her not to tell his family about the baby yet, but she went ahead and told them. The majority of our friendship group thinks she baby-trapped him for money, since her family doesn't have much, and Alex's are more comfortable. I originally was defending her, but then while she was ranting to me about what a jerk Alex is, she said the only thing Alex would be good for was money, and that her baby wouldn't need him as a father. She kept talking about Alex, money, and him being an ATM for a good 30 minutes. The conversation left a bad taste in my mouth, so I was discussing it with Charlotte, my best friend and Alex's ex, and we both agreed that it seems like Leah only cares about the money, and I said I was starting to agree with the friends who think she baby-trapped him for money. Unfortunately, Charlotte mentioned it to a few other friends, who told others, and it's gotten back to Leah. She hasn't said a single thing to me, and the only reason I know she now hates me is because Alex, of all people, confronted me about it, and she blocked me. He told me to leave Leah alone, and tried to guilt me because she's pregnant and needs her friends right now, but he's the one causing her the most stress. He said if I, or anyone else, said anything else about her, we'd have to deal with him, so most people are now denying ever saying she baby-trapped him, so I feel like I'm being thrown under the bus here. Charlotte said he's only playing hero because his family are all on his case now, because Leah keeps running to them, so he has no choice but to act like he cares. Am I the a-hole? Seeking Beskar says, everyone sucks here. This sounds like a lot of drama that's worth stepping away from. Alex and Leah could both have taken steps to prevent this pregnancy, but may not have. Leah doesn't want to have an A, and that's a decision that should be respected. Going to Alex's ex to discuss this was only going to create more drama. Chances are, Alex needs some time to digest this and work out what role he's going to play without the drama. And in your conversation with Leah, she may have been feeling quite spiteful as she had experienced Alex ask her to get an A she doesn't want. That's a lot of emotions going around at once for both of them, and pregnancy hormones can be literal hell. It doesn't excuse what she was saying, but it is a worthwhile factor to consider. Squirrels are evil says, you're the a-hole. Stop calling Leah your friend, because you are not a friend to her. Both Alex and Leah had consensual S, and are aware of the need for birth control. That's between the two of them. Alex is financially responsible for the baby, and he knows that. That does not mean Leah baby-trapped him, only that she expects child support for his child. You said nothing to Leah, but then sneak around gossiping and spreading rumors with no actual knowledge. Now you are reaping the consequences of running your mouth, and think you're the victim. Your friend group are finding out that you are no friend, but a malicious gossip.